Hello, beautiful souls. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. And tonight I want to go very deep into something I've spoken about before, but this time I want to bring you the why behind it. All right, tonight I want to take you into one of the most important teachings I've ever shared on the twin flame journey. Again, a very quick introduction. I'm a clairvoyant, a twin flame guide, and I share discourses and channel teachings from my own experience and higher self connection. And my work cuts through illusions, decodes hidden and energetic patterns, and speaks the truths about divine union many won't say out loud. So please only take what resonates and leave the rest. Everything I share is rooted in my clairvoyance and personal journey, and with all the clients, thousands of clients I've assisted in the last decade or so. So today we're going to talk about the categories of twin flames. I did a few, discourses. I think I did a couple, but I really wanted to bring in more meaning. So we're going to talk about the categories of twin flames. Again, this is my own organization, and again, you know, but again, not in a surface level way, but in a way that brings you clarity about your path, about why your path looks the way it does and why your soul chose it and how it fits into the planetary ascension process. So we're going to talk about the main two categories, and then I'm going to talk about the subcategories as well. All right, so the two main categories of monadic twin flames, as I always talk about, the karmic detourer and the veil burner. And category 2, the silent initiate and the still flame. And I'm not just going to describe them to you. I want to really explain why these categories exist and why your soul chose one over the other and why both lead to sacred union in the end. So, category 1. All right, the karmic detourer and the veil burner. So, I want to begin with this category. Why this category exists. This is the fire path. The divine masculine in this category cannot awaken through stillness. His karmic patterns, ancestral contracts, and soul illusions are too highly bound. He has to walk through fire. He has to lose what's real before he can value it. He has to be blinded by illusion before he can recognize truth. So, what happens? He chooses those karmics, NPCs. He chooses partners or lifestyles that feel safe because they don't demand ego death. He rationalizes often. She's too much, too intense, wrong timing. But beneath the surface, he knows. And then comes the divine feminine, the veil burner. So often in this category, if you fall under this archetype, your soul chooses to awaken through rejection, betrayal, abandonment, and not being given the preference of being chosen. You're always not chosen. The other party, the NPC or karmic, is chosen. Why? Because you carry codes of transmutation. Your mission is not to be chosen. Very clearly, your mission is not to be chosen. Your mission is to rise even when you are not chosen. And your sacred task is to alchemize devastation into embodiment, to prove that love does not need validation to survive, to break ancestral patterns of dependency, false marriages, codependent love. You burn the veil not just for yourself but for the entire collective. So, why? Why do you experience so much pain? The pain here is not random, it's designed, because when you, the divine feminine, rise in sovereignty after rejection, you magnetize your counterpart back without chasing, without rescuing. His karmic would eventually collapse. And he sees that the only flame still burning is yours. So the purpose of this category is clear: to show humanity, then even after betrayal and illusion, authentic love survives. So I want to go into category two, the silent initiate and the still flame. So, why this category exists? So, I want to call this the temple path, because the divine masculine here is not running into karmics. He's running into himself. This is often, the divine masculine who doesn't even acknowledge. He's like, his soul template is monk like. He cannot face intimacy. So, hear me carefully here. He cannot face intimacy. Not because of betrayal patterns, but because the depth of recognition terrifies him. So, what does he do? He retreats, he blocks, he goes silent. His karmic test is not lust, but invisibility. He doesn't avoid you by choosing someone else, he avoids you by choosing solitude. And here, the divine feminine is often the still flame. So, why do you awaken this way? Your initiation is silence, not betrayal, but absence. So, that's the reason why many in these categories you're often told you're not interested, you're blocked, you're not even acknowledged. With category one, there's acknowledgement, just not being chosen. Here, you don't even have acknowledgement. You often feel like he likes you, he adores you, but yet what is happening? You're left in an empty space with no explanation, no closure, no enemy to blame. Why? Because your soul curriculum is frequency mastery. You are here to hold a field of love without needing feedback, to become the temple, the auric keeper. That's why, as the still flame, we often radiate unconditional presence even when unseen. And why is it so painful? The pain cuts deep because it gives you nothing tangible to fight against. No karmic rival, no visible betrayal, only the silence and his ego, which he thinks that he is kind of dismantling. But in that silence, your soul learns to stabilize it in frequency. You stop proving, you stop performing, you simply embody. The masculine, in turn, awakens not through collapse of karmics, but through remembrance in solitude. So one day the silence becomes unbearable and he realizes the only resonance that he ever felt like home was you. So the purpose of this category is to anchor love as frequency, invisible but undeniable. So can you see? So now the big question is, why do these two categories exist at all? Because they serve two distinct planetary functions. Category 1, the fire path, collapses false love structures, breaks illusions of karmic bondage, produces leaders, healers, truth tellers who rise from devastation. Category 2, the temple path, anchors love as frequency and resonance, stabilizes planetary grids through presence, literally a lot in this category tend to be grid workers too. We tend to do that a lot. Produces priestesses, intuitives, frequency holders who transmit coherence. So one path burns illusions, the other transmits truth, and both are necessary for the planetary ascension process. One clears, one anchors, but both evolve the collective. So that's the reason why before incarnation you choose your category, not because it was easier, because neither is easy. You choose the one your soul could complete. So if you're the veil burner, you agreed to walk through rejection so that you could embody sovereignty after devastation. And if you're the still flame, you agreed to walk through silence so that you could anchor love as frequency without validation. So the pain is the curriculum and the curriculum is the why. And here's the truth. It's here's the truth. You cannot switch categories and you don't need to. Because whichever one you are in, it's the fastest way your soul can fulfill its missions. Its mission. But of course, in some cases, you may resonate with both. You may feel like at one point, your DM is like that, and another point, he's like that. So, if that resonates, so be it. All right. So, I want you to take this with you. Category 1 teaches that love survives illusion. Category 2 teaches that love transcends form. So both paths end in the same destination, right? Like I had said, sacred union, planetary activation, the remembrance of what was never lost. So if you're burning in the ashes of betrayal, or if you're holding light in silence, you're not failing. You're walking the exact architecture you designed with God and the masculine. Whether he ran into karmics or disappeared into solitude, or he's partying away like crazy, often that happens to the monk in solitude. He wants to maintain and pretend as well that he's doing excellent. So often category 2, they are going through an internal process, but they may appear like they are playboys, or they might party a lot, or they might be in the heart of like conferences, build like trying to build businesses, but in reality it's just a facade for what they're trying to truly hide. Whereas category 1, they are more like they keep choosing the other party, but in reality it's because they are not ready to match the frequency of the veil burner yet. So that's why both categories awaken in the only way they can, and in time, your divine masculine will return not to fix what was broken, but to remember what was always true. And that is why that is the path. So, I wanted to go into the hidden mechanics of the two twin flame categories. In the first part, like I explained, the primary categories of monadic twin flames, we looked at why they exist, and I want to go deeper. We're going to talk about the hidden mechanics of these categories, how they function psychologically, energetically, spiritually, and most importantly, what you guys are training for. So category 1, his psychology is built on avoidance disguised as desire. He doesn't deny his longing, that's why he's always coming back. That's why there's no clean separation. He just redirects it. He convinces himself that the karmic is safer, more practical, more acceptable. Underneath, his nervous system is saying, I can't survive for intensity. The veil burner mirrors this by carrying rejection wounds that force her into deep identity collapse. She questions her worth, doubts her intuition, and then rises stronger than before. Category 2. Category 2 divine masculines, his psychology is very different. He does not run into others. He runs into absence, or he runs into crowds. His fear of intimacy is often masked as neutrality. So sometimes he may portray the playboy, like trying to date a lot of people, or trying to party around, or trying to be with a lot of people. But in reality, he's actually afraid of intimacy. So with category 2, I've noticed a lot of divine masculines have intimacy related issues. So category 1 is like overly exercising it via karmics and PCs. Category 2 are totally blocked. So he hides in logic, spirituality, or detachment. He convinces himself that he's not ready and she'll be fine. Maybe she doesn't matter that much. So the still flame mirrors this by facing the wound of invisibility. She learns to embody presence without proof, to radiate love with no external validation. So in category 1, the fire path, the third energy is forged through crisis. Every betrayal, every karmic collapse creates sparks that burn away illusions. The energy is turbulent but transformative. When the veil burner divine feminine chooses freedom, sovereignty, the masculine is forced to confront the wreckage of his false choices. That's why for category 2, the temple path, the third energy is not forged in fire but crystallized in stillness. Each silence is a refining process. The feminine must become stable, because When the feminine becomes more stable, more coherent, more temple like, the masculine eventually feels the emptiness of his solitude and remembers the resonance of of a frequency. That's why when divine feminines in this category start to act out, or turn up at his place of work, or try to message him, it's often ignored, because the role of the divine feminine in this category is to practice stillness, as to mirror the silent initiate. But often, when he's in his party phase, or he's trying to put up a false facade, automatically the divine feminine tends to act out from that energy as well. You see where I'm coming with that? So, what is the evolutionary purpose? The fire path purpose to dismantle false love systems in the collective. Veil burners become truth tellers, disruptors, healers, and that's why divine feminines in these categories, they show others that love can survive illusion and betrayal. And the temple path purpose is to stabilize the grids of love on earth. So that's why still flames become frequency holders, like we become priestesses, intuitives. Our lives show others that love can exist without proof, without possession, without drama, just in stillness. So that's why category 2, sometimes there might not be acknowledgement. So, and often the separation is more clear. You have like a solid couple of years separation, whereas for category 1 you may be in and out, because every time the DM goes through another karmic, he comes back to his divine feminine. So that's why for veil burners, the hidden curriculum is transmutation. You're training to alchemize rejection into sovereignty, to rise from betrayal without becoming bitter. And your gift to the world is showing what it means to love beyond devastation. And for still flames, the hidden curriculum is transmission. We are training to hold the field of unconditional love without needing to be seen. And our gift to the world is proving that love can exist as frequency and not always. So, in terms of union mechanics, category 1 union happens through collapse. Karmic cycles must implode, external worlds must burn down. The reunion is dramatic, fiery, time altering. That's why category 1, it's always a celebration. Category 2 union happens through convergence. The masculine reaches a point where silence is no longer bearable, and the reunion is very quiet, magnetic, precise, but just as powerful. So often it will be like a quiet return, just normal. Both end in the same place, sacred union, but the road looks completely different. Like category 2, like really, he might just unblock, he might just message, he might just meet, and he might just get together. That's how it works. All right. So you may ask, why is this so important? Because when you understand the mechanics of your category, you stop asking the wrong questions. You stop wondering, why is he betraying me? Why is he gone? Why is he not choosing me? And you start asking, what curriculum did my soul choose? What am I being trained for? The answer is sovereignty, for mastery, for union. So category 1 teaches you that love survives illusion. Category 2 teaches you that love transcends form. Different training, same destination, sacred union, planetary activation. So I just wanted to touch on the other 4 categories. So there aren't only 2 categories, there are 6. Again, this is something that I created from working with thousands of clients, my own journey and everything. So again, some of you might feel like these subcategories might flow in, or some of you may just exist in just one of the categories. So think of it like this: if twin flames are here to help awaken the planet, not every pair can walk the same path. The diversity of categories ensures every aspect of human illusion gets dismantled, purified, and elevated. Some categories confront illusion in love, some categories confront illusion in time. Some categories confront illusion in mission and power, and some categories confront illusion in memory and identity. Six categories are needed because six types of illusions need to be broken. Each category is a training ground for one of these. All right. So the like I want to move on to category 3, 4, 5, and 6, So category 3 is the cosmic runner and the quantum weaver. Masculine avoids mission by running into endless distractions, work, travel, ambition. Feminine weaves the quantum field, learning to create stability while he disperses. So the purpose is to break the illusion that fulfillment comes from endless seeking. And then category 4, the timeline wanderer and the quantum pillar. Divine masculines destabilize. Masculine destabilizes by hopping timelines, revisiting past loves, reliving regrets. The feminine becomes the anchor, the pillar that holds steady across timelines. So the purpose is to break the illusion that time itself defines love. So category 5 is the mission holder and the great weaver. Masculine hides in work or mission, thinking purpose must come before union. Feminine learns to weave the greed, integrating love into mission rather than apart from it. Purpose to break the illusion that sacred work and sacred love are separate. And the final category, the sleeping king. And the flame of remembrance. Masculine remains dormant, refuses awakening, seemingly asleep, and feminine holds the flame of remembrance until his soul stirs. So the purpose is to break the illusion that awakening can be forced. This is the slowest but most profound activation. So the collective purpose of all six, when you put all six categories together, you will see the bigger pattern. Categories 1 and 2 cover love, illusions, through betrayal and absence. Category 3 and 4 cover time illusions through chasing and wandering. Categories 5 and 6 cover mission illusions, separation of purpose, and delay of awakening. So, together, they form a complete curriculum. Every possible illusion that keeps humanity trapped in false love is confronted by one of these categories. This is why your path feels so precise. It's because it is what it is. You incarnated into a category that serves the exact evolutionary lesson your soul and the collective needed. So here's the truth. You did not land in the wrong category. You did not make a mistake. Whether you're waking through betrayal, silence, wandering, mission obsession, or even apparent dormancy, it's all part of the design. Your category determines the initiation, but the outcome is the same: sacred union, third energy activation, planetary remembrance. Six categories, one purpose: to dismantle illusion, to embody truth, to bring love back into the field of earth. And that is the architecture, and that is why you are here. So I know this is a lot to take in, and again, I got a lot of requests asking me to explain the category. So I hope this discourse gives you the gives you the clarity you're seeking. Again, this is how I have organized my teachings based on my own experience and working with thousands of clients over the decade. So take what resonates only. All right, see you all again with another discourse, and take care. Bye bye.